In this video, I name R'hllor as one of the old gods, by R'hllorian intervention that brought back Catelyn Stark as Lady Stoneheart. It's similar to the Rat Cook story, a tale known throughout Westeros about the repercussions to those who violate the sacred laws of hospitality. Let us begin with the story of the Rat Cook, told by Bran at the Night Fort. The eeriness of the castle reminded him of the stories old Nan used to tell. The story of the Rat Cook was told in between the Night's King and Mad Axe tales. It's almost like an attempt to conceal information, in this case in an info dump, in a repeated motif of George R.R. Martin's parallels historical events and current events, suddenly linking the Rat Cook and the Red Wedding, giving the audience a template of things yet to come, especially while the massacre is still fresh in the reader's mind. And the following sets the consequences of violating guest right. According to legend, the Rat Cook had cooked the son of an Andal king in a big pie with onions, carrots, mushrooms, and lots of peppers, and salt, and a ration of bacon, and a dark red Dornish wine. Then he served them to his father. Afterward, the gods transformed the cook into an enormous white rat, who could only eat his young. He had roamed the Night Fort ever since then, devouring his children, but still his hunger is not sated. It wasn't for the murder that the gods cursed him, Onan said, nor for serving the Andal king his son in a pie. A man has his right to vengeance, but he slew a guest beneath his roof, and that's the gods cannot forgive. George R.R. Martin uses this legend to build anticipation of what is going to happen next. Then in the epilogue of the same book, it is revealed that Catelyn was resurrected as Lady Stoneheart. Here it is important to note, Bran's thoughts are on Robb's passing near the beginning of the chapter. Remember, Bran had a dream of his father in the crypts of Winterfell in the Game of Thrones, resulting in Bran investigating the Winterfell crypts, only to find Rickon down there because he had the same dream. Once leaving the crypt, Master Luwin receives a Raven-born message informing Winterfell of Ned's execution by Joffrey's command. So Bran is very likely to believe his vision is true. Curiously, Bran does not sense his mother's passing, and it is who the gods have selected to be the instrument of vengeance. What is more significant is that she is brought back by R'hllor. The Brotherhood without banners found Catelyn's body in the river 3 days after the Red Wedding. Hagrid begs Thoros to give her the kiss of life, but he says it's been too long. So Lord Beric performs the last kiss, effectively passing his life force onto her, and she rose. In the HBO series, we are given an interesting exchange between Thoros and Melisandre on Beric's resurrection. Melisandre says, "You shouldn't have this power." Thoros replies, "I have no power. I ask for the Lord's favor," and he responds, "As he wills." So it is intriguing that R'hllor is the one who intervenes in this occasion when guest right is violated. The vernacular used in the tale of the Rat Cook is gods, which alludes to the old gods, since the legend is known in Westeros, particularly in the north. While the religion of R'hllor has a dualistic worldview, there is only R'hllor, the god of light and life, and the great other, the god of ice and death, and they are locked in eternal conflict for the fate of the world. The faith views all other religions as demons, and part of accepting the religion of R'hllor is to put aside all other gods. However, it appears everywhere one goes on Planetos, you can find people that believe they found the one true God, and they all think they are right. The world has many answers, as there are men to answer, and the followers of these various religions can attest that they are very real to them. According to legends, it is said, Mother Rorn herself whispers to her children of every threat, that the Dornish princes wield strange and uncanny powers, and that the city is protected by watery walls that would raise to drown any foe. During the First Turtle War, the Water Wizards raised enormous waterspouts against the Valyrian 3 dragons, and the Rorn flooded the city. In Cohort, they worshiped the black goat, and he received daily blood sacrifice. And on holy days, he is offered condemned criminals, and in times of crisis, he is offered the noble children of the city, in hopes that their God will defend the city. And thus far, the city still stands. In the north of Westeros, the first men worshipped the old gods, the nameless deities of the forest, stream, and stone. The children of the forest believed that the wild trees were the gods, and when they die, they become part of their godhood. During the Children of the Forest war with the first men, the children used their magic to shatter the arm of Dorne to stem the flow of the first men onto the continent, seeking to end the invasion. When that failed, the children called upon their nameless gods to send the Hammer of Waters to break the lands of Westeros into two. It failed, flooding the neck, transforming the land into the bogs and swamps that are there to this day. In the island of Narth, they worship the Lord of Harmony, who has existed and will exist for all time. He is the source of creation. The Navy revealed butterflies as messengers of the Lord, charged with protecting the island and its people. These legends come from the butterfly fever that has laid waste to conquerors throughout history. And that is just naming a few religions on Planetos. So which is more likely? That the world has only two gods, R'hllor and the Great Other, or the world is filled with many magical deities? It is more likely that R'hllor is one of the old gods, since R'hllor took it upon itself to answer the call of vengeance when guest right is violated after the Red Wedding, and the course of action is outlined in the Westeros tale of the Rat Cook. Slaying a guest beneath your roof, that is something the gods cannot forgive. Gods, plural, a possible clue to R'hllor's position in the world, along with the other countless ancient deities in the world of ice and fire. Here's another thing to think about on the R'hllorian claim that all other deities are demons. Narratively, one expects to hear this, but it conceals yet another level of a song of ice and fire, the celestial conflict, the battle for followers. For men don't just rally behind sigils, they have also rallied behind religions as well. Remember Varys' riddle about where does power reside? And the answer is power resides where people believe it resides, no more nor less. Religions, like kingdoms, they gain power and influence as their numbers grow. Necessary for the religion of R'hllor is preparing for the battle for the dawn to resume. The faith is very focused on prophecy and visions. Until recently, the faith has been unable to gain a foothold on Westeros. Melisandre convinces Stannis to convert, and in return, the Lord of Light gives him a token, the Sword Lightbringer, for his role as the prince that was promised. He uses the religion as a means to an end, and that end is to gain the Iron Throne. For Melisandre, it's also a means to an end, and that end is to have the religion of R'hllor be the dominant religion of Westeros. There has been many wars for supremacy in A Song of Ice and Fire, from the Valyrian expansions to Aegon's conquest, as well as religious wars. For example, in the Children's War with the First Men, after the two fought into a standstill, they forged the pact, and in time, the First Men even put aside the gods that they brought with them and took up the worship of the sacred gods in the wood. For R'hllor to become the dominant religion of Westeros, they need to convert the prince that was promised. Thank you. If you would like to see more videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.